Hi guys, welcome to Crushing the Meta again. My name is JJ, and I'm joined today with.
Dave. I'm also a part of Team Crushing Minute channel. I'm currently like 21 years old. Yeah, yeah. Just
And he likes long walks on the beach, and roses in his mouth, and long dances in a bar.
yeah. No, I was thinking, did I get my birthday this year? But no, I didn't. So I'm still 21. Yeah, I don't keep it count. Okay, sorry. Okay.
He wasn't sure whether or not he was gonna have a birthday this year. I mean,
That was
fair.
like my 21 or 22.
It's
So
like, do we skip a year this year again? It's like, oh, wait, do we go from like 20 to 22 next year? Like, well, how does that work again? Can we bank our year next year?
no, I usually don't celebrate my birthday, so I don't really keep it count.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, I think that's like a tradition for most people here in Europe or in the Netherlands, really. Like conventional stuff like keeping track of your birthdays and stuff. You kind of just live in the moment. You kind of just live day to day, and you just kind of do your thing and have fun
yeah,
every day anyway. So every day kind of feels like a birthday, I guess, sort of thing. I mean,
it's just like okay, today is Wednesday, next day is Thursday, and
yeah.
everything, and it's like okay, sure. Oh, we are already done with the week. Okay,
Yes,
fine.
exactly. Especially in this global situation. How have you been dealing with that, by the way, Dave?
I've going to. I went back to my
Mm.
study college. So yeah, that situation. I just sit here behind my PC and studying my courses, of course.
Okay, well, shoot. What's that?
Yeah.
What's that course you've been picking up on then?
I am currently studying chemistry
Hmm.
again because I already did a chemistry. What do you call it?
Education.
Like, yeah, education. Yeah, before, and I will also finish it, but I just went a step further ahead, so like a higher degree.
Ah, okay, so more or
So
less you could call it like bachelor's, and you kind of wanna,
yeah,
yeah,
bachelor's. Yeah,
yeah, you
yeah,
just wanna just try to get it. Yeah, you just have the
yeah,
basic education for chemistry, and now you're just trying to get into higher learning. All right, that's
yeah,
good, man. Bettering
yeah,
yourself, giving yourself something to do in this very
yeah.
trying times these days. So that's really sounds like a very
Yeah,
good
I
idea.
was already thinking when I finished my basic chemistry
Hmm.
course, but I was like, okay, I don't know really. I want to work, and but I also want to study further. But then Corona hits, and I was like, okay, study, of
Yeah.
course.
Well, my decision has been made for me, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank
But
you.
it's not a decision I don't agree on. It's like I wanted to do it already,
Yeah.
and when I started working, I was like, okay. I already convinced myself that I wanted to study further, but I was like, okay, I will just keep on ahead, see where the end of the road ends, and just like it that way.
And how has that experience been like for you so far?
For now, I just enjoy it. It's very easy, just sit behind your PC and everything. Um, but of course, when you're studying, you don't make a lot of money in that way. So yeah, it's
Ah,
basic fact.
true. It makes it a
It's
little bit
kind of
hard to buy Cardfight Vanguard cards. Makes it
yeah,
very difficult to get cards you really want.
yeah.
But
You just you need to make decisions on that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, how's been actually how's Cardfight Vanguard been for you this year?
I find it to be a little bit of a problematic year due to Corona, of course, but also on the take of the decisions like Bushrow made.
Hmm.
Since personally, I don't agree with their decisions. Some of them, like the stride folders, for example, are really a really nice design. They're really nice for certain decks that need a little bit of consistency. It's nice to actually ride into multiple victories. It has a nice feeling to it. But I personally take on the idea is that you take over a triple rare slot.
Hmm.
And if your support has been lackluster for the year, like let's say for example Tachikaze,
Hmm.
they have a little bit of a lackluster support, and that one triple rare slot the Strikefolder that took in
Hmm.
is made so that your entire support is lackluster if you only have one triple rare left for it.
Hmm. Which
So
that could have been like a better second
yeah,
grade 3 or something, or better
yeah,
grade 2.
something. Yeah, precisely. So in that sense, your support has already been made half of it, half of the triple rare slots. So for example, Shikase, which got like two triple rares, I think.
Hmm.
So yeah, you already have one triple rare slot that's pretty boring in my opinion, and that's not something positive in that sense.
Okay.
That's my take on it at least. I
Okay.
can't. let's say for spikes, for example, that want to ride multiple grade 3s after another with bull spike, it is really amazing. But yeah, that's not the same for every other clan.
But to reiterate, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, he's referring to the grade 1 retrains
Yeah.
of Strife Fighters from the G era that are currently now grade 1 searchers that search for grade 3s at the top 5
Yeah,
cards of your deck. So
and
just
get bonus effects with a little bit of power.
with a little bit of power, like 5k power, either being an extra axle marker, maybe being in the front row, or if your opponent controls no rear guards, or if you bound cards, like small little, conditions that do it in that way. So he's referring to those type of cards. So just in case a lot of people didn't get that one, that's what he was meaning.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you said a little bit about Strife Fighters. I guess you're accustomed of playing a little bit more into the GR then, or
yeah,
premium, I guess.
yeah, I began playing in the G era like 4 years ago, I think now. And I started playing with the Time Leap deck. Not everyone's been most favorite deck of that point.
No,
But
no.
no, for me it was just a fun deck. I was playing like a Time Leap deck with only one Melem and everything, and everyone was salty when they saw the Melem. And I was like, okay, I just tried it. It was my only Melem, and I'm done so. Yeah, I remember the shop challenge where I opened my deck. I write my Melem, and the opponent player was really salty for me to play Time Leap. But I was like, dude, this is my only Melem. What are you talking about?
But what hurts him a little bit more is that you have Takeaway Dragon and you Soul Blast the Melody instead of back to the deck and you Time Leap into it. You're like,
Yeah, but I didn't have any Soul Blast up to the point.
oh.
It was really a budget deck. I just started with the trial deck with the. It was already with the Chronicle Dragon G at the point because the bandlist was already live, but it was just like that deck without takeaway. Even it was, I don't know.
It was bare bones. Bare bones.
Yeah, definitely. So and I remember many people like woo sharking me when I said I'm just trying to learn this game, please. And yeah, but of course, Time Leap really toxic for some people, and I was like, okay, I just enjoyed it.
Yep.
Because I really enjoyed the part of Time Leap where you have like interactions with the whole time travel aspect. Because I'm a scientist, of course, as my profession, and I really enjoy the idea of so time traveling, into a card game. And also the idea that, for example, when I first saw Chronogen and he evolves to Chronojet between the battle phase, I find that a really nice and interesting game idea, and that's why I started picking up the trial deck, of course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And has there been any like other decks that give you the same passion and feel between, let's say, standard and premium right now that has been that exciting for you?
To that aspect, I don't really think so. Just because Time Leap isn't even there in the standard format, of course. There has been some really nice decks that I enjoy in the standard format, but not to the same aspect as the one of the G era, of course. Where it was just my first deck, it was just a nice idea, and that's why I picked up the deck at the beginning. But yeah, for now I just play the decks because I like those decks and not really an aspect behind it why I picked up the deck.
It's like, oh, this deck looks kind of cool. I'll just play this for a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, and for example, I already played Chronicle, of course, in G era, so I also picked it up in the V era. So there wasn't really a extra distance or an extra reason to pick it up.
Fair enough. It carries over. Look, but what are your takeaway from the differences between standard and premium that you find for especially your Gear Chronicle deck? How did it feel to you in the difference between both formats?
Yeah, for standard, I like the really simple and it's just a simple format for my take. It's everyone has a different opinion around it, but for me, I feel it's like a simple format that's really relaxing to play, just if you're casual playing with friends. But I think that premium takes it a little step further with many more interactions, many more steps to take, or more. You feel more for what you do. Like for example, if you're playing Time Leap, that's a really nice road to take. because the more time leap shenanigans you do, the more you feel like, okay, I did actually something to pressure my opponent. Where in standard it feels like, okay, I swing 3 to 4 times and that's it.
Okay, well, they've been starting to increase a little bit with Sharhalt and Big Belly and
Yeah,
a lot.
but I'm referring to the next stage, of course, right?
Yeah,
You're just doing with your Vanguard, restand it,
yeah.
and then with the side columns, they increase the number of attacks. But in premium, I feel like you get more rewarding for the complicated plays you make. So it's more risk reward in that sense.
Okay, okay. That's dope.
Yeah.
So then, talking about like the competitive aspect, right? You did mention
Mhm.
that a little bit earlier. What competitions and tournaments have you kind of done pretty okay in, or topped, or stuff like that? Do
Um,
you have any tops you want to talk about?
Now my actually first stop was in the top 8 in Belgium, and
Mm-hmm.
it was my ever first BCS. No, it was my first ever Springfest I attended to. So I wasn't accustomed to playing in the BCS or Springfest format, and I was actually playing with two great friends of mine, Wes and Laura. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, you know them. Um, and they said, okay, you can just join us, and we made it actually to the top 8 of that. So really excited to go into top 8 for my very first big tournament, of course. And for the rest, yeah, I don't really keep track of it. I think, uh, yeah, I was with you in the team,
Mm-hmm.
like last year, I think, or maybe even 2 years ago.
Could be.
Maybe with
I
Flores.
don't-
It was with Flores.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
then we made it
yeah.
to the top 8. Nah, that
Yeah,
was ridiculous.
you guys hella carried that one. That was funny. I just
Yeah,
had fun. I just had
yeah,
fun.
for people that don't understand, I was with a other guy, Flores, that also is part of the team question in the meta. And Flores was undefeated for the whole entire day. I only lost like once or twice, no, only once in the top 8. And JJ here was losing the entire day.
Every match, every game. My deck didn't do anything. I died. My I had like a couple opponents that literally asked
Yeah,
me to show me my hand, and they saw I literally couldn't do anything. They were like, "Well,
yeah.
yeah, that's kind of unlucky." It was like, "Yep, it kind of is," but I'm just
Uh,
gonna have fun. So it just gave me enough time to kind
yeah,
of
it
talk
was
to people.
it was a great day to have because even though you lost the entire day, it was
Fun.
you kept cheering us on. You didn't yeah,
Mm.
downsize yourself because you lost the entire day. So that was really fun for me.
Yeah, I had fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and for the rest, yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, I don't keep track of it. I don't write them down and keep them in the archive or something like. I don't know.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
But that's fair. That's fair. You more or less focus on the more fun aspects of the game, and I think
yeah,
like from the two you've talked about, it seems that you like team leagues a bit more
yeah.
than
I
solo
like team
tournaments.
league. Yeah, I like team leagues far more, just because I like the team aspect of the game.
Mhm.
Also played like water polo for around 11 years,
Mhm.
and I always like the team aspect where you help each other, encourage each other, and trying to go for one single goal as a team.
Mhm.
Um, if one person is doing like a bad play or maybe even the discouraging themselves, I really like the aspect of having your teammates cover for you, or even cheer you on, even though you have like a bad day,
Mhm.
for example. So I prefer playing Team League over BCS, but I also really enjoy BCS, of course, because it's a more one-to-one personal experience on the competitive level. But
Okay.
if I had to choose, like Team League or BCS, I would prefer Team League. The only downside is you don't get to go to Japan, of course, if you go first. That's the
Fair,
only.
fair enough. But talking
Yeah.
about Japan though, have you heard some of the reports that they've actually cut down on playing any form of premium in their WGPs?
No, no, I didn't. No.
No. Okay.
So you're saying like they? I know they primarily play standard there in
Mhm.
Japan, but not
Mhm.
as much premium, right?
No. But this time, a lot of the shops, a lot of the tournaments, and currently at the moment, this year the WGPs, which is more or less, I guess we
Yeah.
could call them the equivalent of YCSs for us over here in
Yeah.
the West, for their scene is going to be primarily doing standard. How do you feel about that?
I can get the ID because also for us in the western side of um, the world, of course, standard has been a lot more popular, and
Hmm.
I think for shops, They just think, okay, if standard is far more popular than premium, then why not, of course, play standard only if we can make more time for that to help um, to get more of the fraction people playing, of course. But for me, yeah, I can get it, but I of course prefer premium above standard in that sense. So yeah, for me, I like okay, it's just the way it is.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Okay, fair enough. And I guess you can still kind of play casually with friends. You can still
yeah,
have,
of course.
have some really
But
cool games with them.
yeah, if you look at the competitive aspect of it, I would feel like there will be more premium tournaments, of course, also here in the West. But yeah, not many people prefer premium over standard.
Of course, since a lot
Yeah,
of the combos are not to everybody's taste, it gives them a very Yu-Gi-Oh aspect of taste of the game. They
yeah,
kind of left Yu-Gi-Oh for that reason, so they're trying to avoid the same feeling that they get from it. A
yeah,
lot of the combos and a lot of the interactions for them probably seem a bit imbalanced. So they're
yeah,
probably like, yeah, I'd rather just have fun, not have to
yeah.
think too hard about my turns and just turn my card sideways.
Yeah, and if you can just look at it at a Yu-Gi-Oh perspective, like if you look from a standard player into a premium format, then you can say, okay, every deck has like card draw, every deck has a reasonable Vanguard, every deck has almost anything to its disposal. And in that sense, why am I playing then, for example, Shadow Paladin if I can do the same with another clan, for example? It's not that one way or another, but in that sense, every deck has almost anything to its disposal. And in standard, you have a more clan diversity in that.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
Like clan diversity and clan identity has been a very plaguing thing a little bit, I guess, in premium. So in standard, you have like, this deck feels very, very, very different in comparison to, I don't know, you can compare both restanding decks like
Overlord.
Sharhot. No, I mean not
Oh,
like
oh yeah,
like Sharhot and maybe Big Belly. It's like, okay, well, both of them kind of do the same thing of restanding, but Sharhot has a distinct difference of how he draws cards is by putting cards into his soul to be able to do so. Big Belly is by retiring the cards. So both of them kind of achieve the same goal, but the way that they get there is entirely different, and the
yeah,
experience is different as well.
yeah. And in standard or in a premium where it's more cookie cutter in that sense, not in the sense that every deck has a lot of cards. Or you begin or you end your first strategy usually with around 10 plus hands and everything, and you have an entire board set up and you combo your opponent almost to the brink of death. Yeah, you know it's that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's say, for example, we're playing Shadow Pen, and of course we just go into the Mufasa Stride and we end up with 10 card hands and the opponent is on maybe 5 damage
Yeah,
or death
5 damage or
usually.
death, or with at least 2 cards left in his hand, or
Yeah, and
five.
then you're look. Yeah, and then if you're looking into another clan, it's almost to the same alone, only with a different stride.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's really about it.
Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah,
Fair enough, fair enough, fair
yeah.
enough. But then, how do you feel about you know people who are very apprehensive about getting into Vanguard? What are the type of the things like this? Maybe is a big turn off for people even wanting to try Premium or even wanting to try Vanguard because they're like, well, all these units are hitting for like 50 to 60k. You know, I would rather keep on playing Vanguard Zero, if you know what I mean, right? Uh,
No, so you mean the transition between stand to premium? You mean
uh,
that?
no, from Vanguard Zero into Premium, or from an outside looker, because there've been some people who watch
Mhm.
Vanguard, either via streams or watch content creators do content, and they've probably been interested in probably getting into Vanguard, or Yu-Gi-Oh players who probably wanted to transition into playing some Vanguard, right? And they've been very apprehensive, like reading some of the skills, reading some of the effects, and how they sort of exist in the same space, or looking like the same design space as they are in other card games, and like, ugh, that seems a bit broken. Why should I play this game? What would you tell them to inspire them to probably say, no, give this game a try, give Vanguard a try? What would you probably tell them?
Yeah, I would personally say just start off with standard because it's more to the roots of the game, so you get more of the in-game experience itself. I wouldn't recommend just starting with premium, even though if you're like a Yu-Gi-Oh player, you like a lot of combos, You don't get the real feeling of how Vanguard is based on what Vanguard is based on the guard aspect of the attack aspect and everything like that. Instead, that you go far more into the basics of the game, and you get a better feeling of the game of that. I would just recommend like starting out with just a trial deck, or lending, or just using a different or another person's deck, for example, or just buy the MLB deck that has just been come out. It's just like a perfect start to begin with. Uh, yeah, and if you're like, okay, I know this deck, it feels maybe not the best for you, but then you can just look up at the Wikipedia, see what type of deck you think you enjoy, maybe due to the artwork of the deck, maybe due to the game style, like for example with Lebart with his ritual mechanic, that has also been sort of revived in the standard format right now. And just try to get a friend and see if they have the deck, and if they have the deck, ask them to use it so you can just increase um, your knowledge about the game, of course. So you can also try different aspects of it. So let's say, for example, you just go to a local, see if anyone is playing Vanguard, and just try every deck there is. Maybe for me, I also did it when Standard came out. Because when I entered in Jira, some decks were like 300 euros each, and that was just ridiculous. I couldn't even try to imagine playing every deck there is. So when Standard came out, decks were usually like 50 to maybe even 100 euros per piece. So I personally grabbed a lot of decks back then, and I just sold any decks that I didn't really enjoy or like, and that's how I came to my own conclusion on the 4 decks I play now.
Well, which 4 decks do you play now
then? For primarily, I play Gears, of course. It's been one of my favorites, and then I play Shadow Paladin, Spike Brothers, and Grand Blue now. So those are the 4 decks that are at my core disposal.
Okay. And what's attracted you to all of those 4 decks?
For Shadows,
outside of Gears, of course, we know about Gears now.
Yeah. No, for no, for Shadows, it's been interesting route, because I first liked the idea of Royal Paladin in the G era. I also played the Exceed deck and everything. I started out with the Legend deck, upgraded it with a lot of pieces, and I finished it. And I really enjoyed that aspect, but I didn't think Standard brought the same intensity of the deck I liked in the G era. I don't know what it is. I felt like more decks are getting more spirituals than Royal Paladin, which is, in my opinion, a superior clan. Of course, I play Brazas, but it's just the feeling I have with it. And then I was just okay. I looked into Shadow, and it felt more to my comfort. So I was like, okay, I will just sell my Royal Paladin and get into Shadows. So for myself, I felt like Shadows has been more Royal Paladin like, just as feeling on why I picked Royal Paladin in Jira than Royals itself. So I picked up Shadows that way. For Grand Bloom is I really like the revive aspect of the clan, like reusing your own place effects, reusing your pieces, just guarding with everything and bringing back from the drop zone. I really just like that aspect. And for Spike Brothers, it's just it's a different route on the Royal Paladin take, because Royal Paladin was like, okay, I will spiritual my pieces and they enhance each other. And when I played Spike Brothers, it just felt like they enhance just their own single piece. Like for example, Bracky, you just go Bracky, it enhances its own power. And it just felt for me like Royal Paladin in the GR when it comes to spirit guarding and enhancing, and just getting power with it. So just like Shadows and Spikes are, my replaceable Royal Paladin from back then.
Oh, okay. So you prefer you prefer a lot of utility based decks, it seems. Like a lot of decks that allows you to do multiple players at the same time, no real straight direction home sort of thing.
Yeah. I really like the toolbox aspect of it.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it looks like all of the decks you basically played allows you to have the same sort of playstyle, quote unquote, but then allows you to do it in different ways. That's what I think.
Yeah, yeah. With
Nice.
yeah, with Grand Blue, of course, you can be really aggressive with your pieces. You can call them down and just intercept with them away, or just guard with them and then get a retaliation back by calling them over in the next turn. Sprite Ball is just a little bit different from Spirit Calling to the field and everything. And Shadows get resources, of course, when they uh, guard with specific pieces like Great Ones to fill up the ritual, of course.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. But we were talking about a little bit about teams in BCSs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the team. Crushing the meta. How did you get in contact with them? How did you end up joining Crushing the Meta?
Um, I would say it first began when I met Harv.
Mhm.
It was at a BCS in Eindhoven.
Mhm.
I played against him, and it was a really weird type of match because he actually could have won easily, but what he did, he had 4 cards on deck. He had
Mhm.
2 Wonder Boys in hand, called them down, I think, and didn't activate the skill to put cards spawn onto the deck. But what he knew is that he had 2 draw triggers into his deck.
Ah.
So he was like, okay, we do a little gamble. So he attacked went to Vanguard, and he was like, okay, the only way I lose is drive checking both with draw triggers. But he just, he just trolled a little bit like that, um, with because he could just easily put back the units with Wonder Boy and been easily safe, of course, because then he would have like 2 units on the bottom of his deck. But he didn't do that. He drive checked the 2 draws and I won. Um, yeah, you know my lucks. Sorry,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. It's
No,
okay. It's okay.
no, and that's when I first met Harv. I expanded my knowledge of the people playing in the Netherlands, of course, because in the past I primarily played in Zoetermeer, where I live. We also had the locals here, but Harv and the rest of the crew was, of course, playing in Tiel, which is like a long road or a long distance away from us, like maybe an hour or a half drive, I think. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I
For better
didn't really.
context, sorry for a second. For better context, a lot of regions are a little bit bigger than Netherlands. For us traveling to another location that usually is an hour or 2 hours, it's a bit more for us in comparison to other countries. Like, oh, an hour? I drive 6 hours to get to my locals. It's not necessarily the same, but it's like perspective. So for us, it's
Yeah,
that's a bit of a drive.
yeah, and I just and from that on, with when I played at Eindhoven, I came in contact with the entire group, came into the group chat, of course, and that's when I just met a lot of people, and later just Harv invited me to come join at Question the Meta because um, I just met a lot of people and
Oh, nice.
yeah.
That sounds so sweet. And how has that been for you? How has being part of Crushing the Meta been for you so far?
Yeah, I enjoy it. It's just I don't really like the tech aspect of being a part of the Team Crushing Meta because I don't really want to show it off. Primarily, I just like the idea of helping other players or liking to have discussions on specific cards. For example, the new Genesis card that has just been come out that grabs a card from the soul to the hand for counter blast, and um, I really enjoy that card. I say, okay, that's a really great card, but many different people have different aspects on it, and I really like having a discussion of it. For example, you of course know what the card does. You play Genesis in the standard format. You're trying to pick it up in the premium format, and we have a everyone has a different type of opinion around it, and I really enjoyed that type of discussions, and that's where questioning the meta, where we have a lot of people playing different plans, really comes in because we have a lot of different opinions around it.
Okay, so you like at least being able to um pool knowledges pool knowledge between each other to figure out,
Yeah,
okay, okay, this person probably finds it a pretty a B card, like a B plus card. Like say if we're grading a card, some people
Yeah.
find that an A or a C card. It's like, well, no, I think it's a pretty really good card. Maybe you want to play a playset as is. No, it's not that good. Maybe as a 2-off probably. It's like, why? Well, because this and this and this situation uses a lot of counterblast. It uses some soul sometimes. I need to be very careful about it. And it's like, well, okay, but then still the positives you get off of it. So you build off a lot off of each other's thoughts, right?
Yeah, because sometimes I overlook something like a minor detail in the deck, because I can just say, yeah, counterblast for a soul charge, which can turn you into advantage on cards in hand and everything like that. It can be great, but like something like maybe a James that plays Grand Blue can see, oh, but we have creature, it's far better than that. It's not that useful for point A, B, and C and everything like that. I just like the aspect of having different diversity on the card IDs and having cover up each other's weakness in that sense.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that it just basically feels as one whole, as a
Yeah.
cohesive whole. Nice.
Yeah, for example.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, and if, for example, I really hate playing against a deck such as Colony, I can just ask something from the group like, okay, how do I play against it, for example?
But talking about actually decks that you hate playing against, what decks do you like playing against, and what decks do you absolutely would rather just not be there? I'd just rather not be, you know? What decks?
I would say at the beginning, when I say the G era, I would say the leaders.
Ah, really?
Yeah, yeah.
But striding, you basically remove the delete, right?
Yeah, but you know Lubu Chen, of course.
Yeah.
And that's how I first met him, and he was always playing the deck in locals.
Ah, yeah. Then he
Yeah,
got the-
and I was still playing with my sort of budget type Gear Chronicle, of course, and I was like, okay, that might go away.
Oh, God bless. Okay. Any other decks that you felt like that?
Nothing really. I don't think so. I don't really mind many decks. Maybe Overlord the Cross nowadays, but even though that deck, I don't know. It's just every other deck has like 5 multi-attacks. He does it only with 3 fingered attacks. It's
kind of the same. It's all basically the same now.
kind of the same. I only don't like the aspect that you can do it on your opponent's going to turn.
Ah, okay. So you prefer at least being able to play the game a little bit and
Yeah. At least get my grade 4 out with that clear. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So what other decks do you enjoy playing against that you think you get some really good and fun gameplay? Be it for standard or premium, it doesn't matter which format.
Yeah, for decks I really enjoy. I like for stand I really enjoy decks that that just feel simple. I really like the simple aspects. So let's say for example maybe a gold paladin, a royal paladin. If you check the whole paladin group, of course, because they're really simple, but also can put out some great pressure. I also really enjoy decks that you can counterplay against. For DI, for example, right now, that you can counterblast stack them if they guard a little too much, and you can give them some decisions on, oh, do you want to take this 3 crit attack? Because yes, you have all the counterblast in your world, but otherwise you don't have the counterblast in the world, and like that sort of little strategies to play against that. But yeah, I would just say DI, the Paladin group, Grand Blue. Just that sort of type of decks.
Okay, so you like to play against decks that are basically doing some of the similar things that your decks are doing, so it makes more like a close game, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Precisely.
All right, that's good. That's good. But we were talking a little bit about Luba Chan a little bit, and some prominent players in the community and stuff like that in tournaments and events. Does that matter to you? Does the power or your own assessment of a power of a player, is that important to you?
No, I don't think so. I would just say when I'm just at the BCS or local or everything, I don't really mind who's playing against me. Of course, you enjoy different types of people playing against you for just because they have a more familiar playstyle, or maybe a playstyle that really makes the game great if you're playing against them. But for me, I don't really mind playing against a certain name of a player, of course. let's say for example Harv or Lupo. I don't really mind them. Some people can like if they know there's a big name against them, like for example in BCS or Springfest, they get a lot of sweaty and everything like that. But for me, I don't really mind about that. I just say, hey, we are all people. We're all come from the same hole and everything like that.
Yike. Okay. that is the scientist part coming out there. That one. Yike. Okay. I see. So just not being noticed, not being nervous, just being cool, calm, and collected. Keep calm. That's good. That's good. So, Dave, any last words you want to give to our viewers? Oh, wait a minute. Your favorite card. I kept on forgetting that. One sec, wait to a second here. Hopefully you guys are watching this video, are enjoying what we're doing here with the interviews. We try to do these weekly, I think every Wednesday. It's the schedule that we put up until Christmas, or until the end of the year. We're going to be giving away a prize card. Well, not exactly a prize card. The prize will be when you mention your favorite card, your favorite card in the description, and your favorite clan in the description, and hopefully one of the content creators or one of us from Crushing the Meta is going to give away one of our favorite cards to one of you awesome people that you probably can play with and say like, hey, you got something from these guys. That's good, right? So hopefully you get to enjoy it. So now we're going to be asking Dave what his favorite card is. What's your favorite card, Dave?
Card I actually signed is a Quinlan Dragon from the V era. Because I find it to have it feels back to the roots of the time leap, of course, which when I first started playing Vanguard, and I just really like the idea of Carnage, of course.
Oh, that sounds so nice.
Yeah, he was the first boy that applied time leap, of course. So that's why I chose it.
Okay, fair. I like that. I like that a lot. So any last words, anything you want to plug, anything you want to say, Dave, before we head on out?
I would just say comment, subscribe, and everything like that. But what I would say is like try to keep up. If you're playing standard, of course, try to still play it, even though coronavirus has kicked in everywhere in the world. Try to support your locals, and if you want to go a bit further, just try to enjoy premium. Pick up just some standard plus cards for your G zone. Try to enjoy that.
Alright, Dave. Alright. Words of inspiration from Dave. From Fluffy Boy himself, Dave. Alright. Have a good day, Dave. Thank you for coming to the interview. I'm gonna be doing a quick sign off. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in, stopping on by. You have been great. You have been awesome. Thank you for watching Team Crushing the Meta. Hopefully you like. Well, not actually. Hopefully, I know you guys are gonna like, share, comment, subscribe. Have a good day.
Yeah. Goodbye.